So I already told you what we are going to learn in today's session. Okay, so let's start the session. Okay, so whatever means, we have studied about periodic table in our previous class. The last session was about periodic table, and I introduced about the Dobriner's law of triads, Newland's law of octaves, Mendeleev's periodic table. All these things we have already learned in the previous classes. Okay, now uh, so you can see this is our periodic table. This is our modern periodic table. Okay, and you can see there are total 118 elements in the periodic table. So which is the first one? So hydrogen is the first element of this periodic table, and today we are going to learn in detail about this element. Okay, because it is a very unique element in itself. Okay, so let's know about hydrogen atom. So as you all know, in hydrogen atom, there is only one electron present. Yes, there is only one electron present in the hydrogen atom. As you all know, how many electrons are present in hydrogen atom? One electron. All of you tell me fast how many protons are present in the hydrogen atom. Number of protons that are present, that is present inside the hydrogen atom is 1. Only one proton is present. Okay, and there are no neutrons present in hydrogen atom. So only one proton is present, one electron is present, and there are no neutrons present inside hydrogen atom. Okay, so hydrogen atom is only one atom in which no neutrons are present. So number of neutrons will be 0. Okay, number of neutrons will be 0. So if you have studied about the isotopes, you must be knowing that hydrogen is having 3 isotopes. Yes, that is protium, deuterium and tritium. Okay, these 3 isotopes are there. In deuterium and tritium, neutrons are present. Only in protium, neutrons are not present. So today we are discussing about simple hydrogen, that is protium, that is the first isotope of hydrogen. Okay, so these things you all must be knowing. This is the common thing. You are studying this from lower standards only. So these things are common things, but it is important for this chapter. So I discuss this with you. Okay. Now the valency is 1. So how the valency is 1? So as you all know, the valency is determined by the combining capacity of any atom. Yes. Combining capacity means what? Means that atom is willing to lose how many electrons or willing to gain how many electrons in order to attain the nearest noble gas configuration. So the nearest noble gas to hydrogen is helium. So hydrogen wants to attain that the helium's configuration. That's why its valency is 1, means it wants to take one more electron in order to gain electronic configuration as that of helium. Yes. So valency of hydrogen is 1. So atomic number of hydrogen is 1. Very good, very good. What is atomic mass of hydrogen? We write as 1U. So textual formula for hydrogen is H2, because 2 atoms of hydrogen combines to form 1 molecule of hydrogen gas. And what is the electronic configuration? 1s1. Okay, 1s1. Okay, very good all of you. Very good. So this is the basic information about hydrogen atom that we must know in this chapter. Okay. Now hydrogen is represented by the symbol capital H. Okay. And this is the accurate mass, which we write as 1.008, but in general term we use it as 1U. Okay. And as you all know, among all the 118 elements present in our periodic table, hydrogen is the lightest element. Okay, it is the lightest element in the periodic table because its atomic mass is also very less. It is not having any neutron. Okay, that's why it is the lightest element. Okay, so as we all know, if we discuss about the position of hydrogen in periodic table, means where hydrogen is placed in the periodic table. So if you observe the periodic table, you will find that hydrogen is placed on the top of periodic table, that is in the first period and in the first group. Okay. So as we all know, whichever elements are present in a particular group, that element should follow similar properties. That element should exhibit similar properties to all other elements present in that group. So if hydrogen is placed in first group, so it is expected from hydrogen that it should show similar properties as that of the alkali metals present in first group, that is lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. Yes, but this is not the case. Hydrogen does not exhibit similar properties to all these metals which are present in the first group. Yes, so ever since Mendeleev presented his periodic table, presented his periodic table, the position of hydrogen was always debatable and controversial. Means there was controversy that where hydrogen should be placed in the periodic table, because hydrogen showed the properties as that of alkali metals also, that is first group elements, as well as it showed the properties of group 17 elements also, that is halogens. Yes, means it showed the properties of first group elements also and 17th group elements also. So it was always a confusing case that where to place the hydrogen in the periodic table. So that's why when modern periodic table was given, Thomson suggested that hydrogen should be placed at the top of the periodic table so that the symmetry of the modern periodic table should not be disturbed. Okay, so as not to disturb the symmetry and position of other elements, we placed hydrogen at the top of the periodic table. But it is not like that hydrogen is placed in first group, so it will follow all the properties of the elements present in first group. It is different to those elements, okay, because it shows some properties of first group elements, it shows some properties of 17th group elements also. Yes, yes, very good. Tech surgery is answering in the comment section that it behaves partially as metals and partially as non-metal. Very good, Tech. Very good. Yes, it is correct. We can say like that hydrogen partially behaves as metal and also as non-metal. Some of its properties are similar to that of the metals, but which metals? Alkali metals, that is group 1 elements. Yes, and its some properties are similar to that of the non-metals, that is halogens, placed in group 17 of the periodic table. Yes, so that means we can say that hydrogen exhibits a dual nature. Yes, dual nature, double character you can say. Yes, you see in movies double character, one character is bad, one character is good of a single person. Here also hydrogen is showing dual nature, double character. Okay, so one character is of alkali metals and other characters exhibit the properties of halogens. Yes, yes, Ayush, very good. It shows dual nature. Very good, Ayush. Correct. Okay. So, which do means now we will understand which type of nature is shown by hydrogen. Okay, what are the properties that are similar to that of the alkali metals, as well as what are the properties that are similar to that of the halogens that are placed in group 17 of the periodic table. Okay, so it shows the properties of group 1 elements. Yes, Judva 2. Tech surgery is telling Judva 2. Yes, Judva 2. What Judva means both characters are is displayed by hydrogen over here and group 17 elements also. Okay. Now we will see here, we will discuss here what are the similarities between hydrogen and alkali metals. Okay. So everyone discuss here what are the similarities between hydrogen and alkali metals. Okay. So the first similarity we will discuss on the basis of electronic configuration. Okay. Electronic configuration. Okay. So okay. So we will discuss the similarities between hydrogen and alkali metals on the basis of electronic configuration. If you observe the electronic configuration of sodium, let's say we want to observe lithium. Let's start from lithium because after hydrogen the next element in first group is lithium. So we will write like this: lithium, sodium, potassium. Okay, let's take only 3 elements. So the atomic number of lithium is 3, atomic number of sodium is 11, atomic number of potassium is 19. Potassium is 19. These are the atomic numbers written in brackets. Okay. So the electronic configuration for lithium will be 2, 1. Sodium, yes, electronic configuration for sodium is 2, 8, 1. This is the electronic configuration for sodium. So it is 2, 8, 8, 1. Very good. So this is the electronic configuration of some of the elements that are placed in first group. Now let's see what is the electronic configuration of hydrogen. So the atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and it is 1. Okay. So you all can see there is only one electron present in the last shell of every element that are placed in the first group of periodic table. Yes or no? Right? Means every element is having only one electron in their valence shell which are present in the first group of modern periodic table. Yes, very good. That means number of valence electrons in all the elements that are present in the modern periodic table is 1. Also, the valency, okay, also if we talk about the valency of every element is also 1. That means the first similarity between hydrogen and alkali metals is that all elements are having same valency as well as number of valence electrons in the outermost shell of the atom is also same. Yes, got it? Everyone got it? What is the first similarity? What is the basis of first similarity between hydrogen and alkali metal? That is all of the elements present in first group is having same number of valence electrons as well as same valency. Yes? Okay, very good. So same valency. Next similarity is, let's talk about the next similarity. So the next similarity is ion formation. If we talk about the metals, I already taught you in the previous classes that metals are generally electropositive in nature. Yes, metals are electropositive in nature. Now, what do you mean by electropositive in nature? What is the meaning of electropositivity? Metals are electropositive in nature. What is the meaning of this statement? Electropositivity means when any element is willing to lose their electrons very easily. Like metals, they don't want to keep the electrons. If somebody comes and asks for their electron, they will say, okay, take it. Means they are ready to lose their electrons very easily. Those types of elements are known as electropositive elements, and metals are generally electropositive in nature because the valence electrons are not firmly bounded to the nucleus. So metals can easily lose that electron and can become positive in charge, can become cation. Just for example, see here, sodium is here, and if sodium, somebody comes, some other elements like chlorine comes to sodium and asks for 1 electron. Okay, so what sodium will do? It will readily donate its electron to chlorine and thus will acquire positive charge on itself. So what we will say, that sodium is electropositive in nature. So ion formation. So same tendency is shown by hydrogen also, hydrogen atom also. Hydrogen also readily loses its electron and acquires positive charge on itself. That means hydrogen atom also show electropositive behavior. So this is the second basis of similarity between alkali metals and hydrogen. So this was the second similarity between alkali metals and hydrogen. What is the third one? Let's talk about reducing powers. Okay, so now we will talk about only reduction process and not oxidation. So reduction means what? Reduction means removal of oxygen and addition of hydrogen. In simple language, reduction means removal of oxygen and addition of hydrogen. So generally metals have higher tendency than other elements for oxygen. Yes, generally metals have higher tendency, okay, higher tendency towards oxygen. So reducing power or reduction means removal of oxygen. Simple language, removal of oxygen. And if in electronic term, if you want to understand, this is rig, that is reduction is gain of electrons. That we will discuss in some other chapter. But right now just understand this, that reduction means removal of oxygen. So generally alkali metals have greater tendency to accept oxygen. Okay. Similarly, hydrogen also have such tendency to accept oxygen. For example, if you want to reduce copper oxide to copper, okay, if you want to reduce copper oxide to copper, so what will you do? You can just react this copper oxide with hydrogen. What you will see that hydrogen will combine with oxygen and water will be formed here, and copper oxide will be reduced to copper. That means hydrogen shows here reducing power just like alkali metals. If you want to reduce this copper oxide using sodium, you can do that also. Okay, here sodium will form sodium oxide and copper oxide will be reduced to copper. So both of the alkali metals and hydrogen show greater reducing power, means show greater affinity for oxygen. Affinity means what? Love. They both love oxygen. Either it is alkali metal or it is hydrogen. Okay. So reducing means what? Affinity for oxygen. Okay. Both of these, the hydrogen also and sodium also, they both love oxygen. So they will reduce the compounds. They can reduce the compounds. Okay. So this is the third similarity between alkali metals and hydrogen. Okay. Very good. So this was the third similarity. Now let's talk about the fourth similarity. Okay. So we will go back to black screen. No. So this is the fourth similarity between alkali metals and hydrogen is that combination with non-metals. You must have seen, I should write here, combination with non-metals. Okay. So you must have seen that generally sodium or potassium, okay, they combines with non-metal to form compounds. Yes, alkali metals are combining with non-metals to form compounds because here metals wants to gain the noble gas configuration, means they want to fulfill their octet. Also, the non-metals also want to fulfill their octet. So, in order to do so, they generally combines with each other and form compounds. Similarly, hydrogen also combines with non-metal to form compounds. Like sodium will combine with oxygen to form sodium oxide. Similarly, hydrogen will also combine with oxygen to form compound. Okay. So, this is the fourth similarity between alkali metals and hydrogen, that both of these combine with non-metals like oxygen, sulfur, chlorine, bromine, iodine, fluorine to form compounds. So, same thing is happening with hydrogen also, what alkali metals are doing here. Okay. So, this was the fourth similarity between these two. So, these are the important similarities. So these are the four important similarities. Now, you all must be thinking that if hydrogen shows so much of similarity with alkali metal, then why ma'am said, or why it is written in the book that hydrogen should not be placed in first group also, because it is not similar to alkali metals. Okay. So, if there are some similarities, there are some differences also between hydrogen and alkali metals. That means hydrogen does not clearly does not duplicates the properties of alkali metals. It shows somewhat similarity with the alkali metals. Okay. Please, the first difference that you can observe here is that all the alkali metals are solid in state. They exist in solid state. Yes, all alkali metals, be it lithium, be it sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, all alkali metals exist in solid state. But hydrogen has non-metallic character. It exists in gaseous state. Okay, it exists in gaseous state. So this is the first difference and first reason to not consider hydrogen as alkali metal. Okay. Now the second thing, that you must have seen that alkali metals generally form ionic bonds. Yes or no? Alkali metals generally form ionic bonds. Ionic bonds means what? That in ionic bonds, one atom completely loses its electron and the other atom completely accepts that electron. Yes, there is no sharing of electrons. There is proper donation and acceptance of electron. So those type of bonds are known as ionic bonds. So alkali metals generally lose their outermost electron. That means valence shell electrons to form compounds. Okay, to form ionic compounds. But hydrogen can't do so. Hydrogen doesn't lose its valence electron to form a compound. What it does, it generally shares. Okay, it generally shares its outermost electron to form compounds. And when there is a sharing of electron, okay, when a bond is formed by sharing of electron, that type of bond is known as covalent bonds. Okay, that means hydrogen forms covalent compounds and not ionic compounds. For example, you have seen water. So here what happens, this is oxygen atom. So what it will do, it will, the 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, what it will do, it will share its electron with hydrogen. Yes, hydrogen is sharing its electron to complete its duplet, not octet. Hydrogen complete its duplet, means it wants to attain the noble gas configuration as that of helium. Yes, so here hydrogen is forming what? Covalent compound, covalent bond. That's why this is the difference between alkali metal and hydrogen, and that's why hydrogen is not considered as alkali metal. Understood? Okay, what is alkali metals? Okay, Gajendra, alkali metals are those elements which are found in the first group of periodic table. They are electropositive in nature. Their reactivity is very high. Just for example, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. These all comes in the category of alkali metals. Means when they are reacted with water, they form bases which are soluble in water and known as alkali. That's why they are known as alkali metals. Understood? Gajendra, tell me, understood, bacha? Yes or no? Okay. So, for example, I am showing you the reaction like sodium. If you react it with water, it will form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Yes. And this sodium hydroxide is a base which is soluble in water. Okay. Which is soluble in water. And these type of bases are known as alkali. That's why the first group elements, that is sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, all these are known as alkali metals. Okay? Okay. So this was the second difference between alkali metals and hydrogen. Also, if we talk about other differences between hydrogen and alkali metals, so you can see that alkali metals, the atoms of alkali metals generally have two or more than two shells. Yes, more than two shells. Like if you see the atom of sodium. So in sodium, three shells are present. If you see the atom of lithium, so in lithium, two shells are present. If you see the atom of potassium, in potassium, four shells are present. Means in alkali metals, in the atom of alkali metals, two or more than two shells are present. But in hydrogen, only one shell is present. Okay, only one shell is present. So this is the other difference, not very important, but you should know. Then if we talk about more differences, then the last one will be that when alkali metals form oxides, these oxides are basic in nature. Okay, the metallic oxides are basic in nature. You have studied this in acid bases. Okay, acid bases and salt. So when we talk about the oxide of hydrogen, it is neutral in nature. So this is also one of the differences between alkali metals and hydrogen. Okay. So I hope, yes, yes ma'am. In alkali metals, two or more than two shells are present, but in hydrogen only one shell is present. Also, the oxides formed by alkali metals are basic in nature, and the oxides formed by hydrogen is neutral in nature. Okay, neutral in nature. That means doesn't exhibit acidic or basic property. Okay. what is the atom of chromium? Chromium is a transition metal, Gajendra. Okay, chromium is a transition metal, group D element. So we will not talk about chromium right now. We are talking about the differences between alkali metals and hydrogen. Okay, chromium is a transition metal. That means they can form oxides of different oxidation numbers. They can form colored elements. They are entirely different section. Okay, chromium, iron, zinc, copper, all these are transition metals. Group 3 to 12. Okay, group 3 to 12 are all different category of metals. They are transition metals. Okay. Okay. So till here, any doubt? We have discussed all the differences between hydrogen and alkali metals. Like why hydrogen is not regarded as alkali metals, not considered as alkali metals. So due to these differences only. Okay. Now, anyone is having any doubt? Because I am going to start the similarities between hydrogen and halogen. Everyone got everything? Excellent teaching, ma'am, no doubt. Okay, thank you so much, Piyush. Thank you so much. Okay, students, I want to tell you one thing. If you're liking the classes, you must share the class with your friends, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Okay, so that starting with similarities between hydrogen and halogens. Why hydrogen is what similarities hydrogen show as that of halogens. Okay. So, if we talk about electronic configuration, you can see the electronic configuration of chlorine is. What is the electronic configuration of chlorine? All of you tell me in the comment section. Electronic configuration of chlorine, all of you tell me in the comment section. Chlorine and fluorine. Okay, the atomic number for fluorine is 9 and atomic number for chlorine is 17. Okay, very good, Mayank, very good Ayush, very good Harsh. So the the electronic configuration of chlorine is 287 and fluorine is only 2 and 7. Yes, very good. Okay, Sarita. Okay, Sarita is telling the valency. Very good, Sarita. Very good. Okay, so you can see here the outermost shell of chlorine contains 7 electrons. Outermost shell of fluorine also contains 7 electrons. Yes, very good, Gajendra. So, both of these non-metals require only one electron to complete their octet and gain noble gas configuration, as that of fluorine will try to attain the noble gas configuration as that of neon, and chlorine will try to attain noble gas configuration as that of argon. Yes. So, they both require only one electron each. And similarly, you can see in case of hydrogen also, it requires only one electron to gain its noble gas configuration as that of helium, because helium contains only 2 electrons. That means the valency of both, okay, the valency of both non-metals, that is halogens and hydrogen, is same, that is 1. They both require only one electron to achieve their noble gas configuration. Yes? Understood, everyone? Means both have valency of 1 and both require only one electron to achieve their noble gas configuration. So this is the first similarity between hydrogen and halogens. Okay, both have valency 1. Yes, very good, man. Both have valency 1. They only require only one electron. Like chlorine wants to complete its octet, so it will require one electron, and hydrogen wants to complete its duplet, so it will again require only one electron. Ma'am, tell me modern configuration. Modern configuration is, okay, this is the distribution of electron in the shells of the atom. Like the 287 is the distribution of electrons in the shell of chlorine. If you want to write the longer form of electronic configuration for a chlorine, if I am writing, it will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. This is the extended electronic configuration of chlorine. Okay. For this, you must be knowing what is S, what is P, how do we write the electrons, means how do we write the numbers of electrons. You have to study about orbitals, you have to study about the Bohr's configuration, everything you have to study. Okay, so this is the modern, not this is the extended electronic configuration of chlorine. Okay, how it is done? Gajendra, it is done on the basis of quantum theory. You have to study about principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number. Okay, these three quantum numbers you must be knowing. Then you must be knowing uh, Aufbau principle. Okay, you must be knowing Aufbau principle. So all these things you should know in order to write this type of electronic configuration. Yes, Ayush is telling in the comment section S, P, D and F block. This S, P, D and F block, all are these the orbitals. Okay. And K, L, M, N, these are the orbits or shells. And inside the orbits and shells, orbitals are there. Okay. And we have to study about these orbitals when we study quantum numbers. Okay. Now formation of ions, if we talk about the formation of ions, so you can see that generally non-metals, that is group 17 elements, have a tendency to accept electrons. Yes, they are electronegative in nature. They have strong affinity for electrons. Yes, okay. So they have strong affinity for electrons. So I can say here that chlorine will gain one electron and it will form a negative ion. Yes. Okay. Text Harsh is writing the electronic configuration which shows a tendency to form. Yes. Very good, Mayank. Very correct. Both shows a tendency to form anion. Halogens as well as hydrogen. Hydrogen also takes up electron and forms hydride ion. Okay, and you can see such compounds NaH, sodium hydride is formed. Okay, so here also hydrogen is showing tendency to take up the electron, to accept electron and to form negative compounds so as to complete its duplet. Okay, same thing group 17 element does, that they always have a strong tendency to accept electrons. Okay, yes, both show that a tendency to form anion. Now if they are showing tendency to accept electron, means that they are having strong affinity towards electron. Why? Because the valence shell, okay, the valence shell electrons are firmly bounded to the nucleus. That means overall nuclear nuclear force of attraction on the electron is very much high in case of halogens. That's why they exhibit a strong electronegative character. What do you mean by electronegative character? Means the tendency to pull the electrons towards itself. Okay. If I show you a compound like HCl. So HCl is a covalent compound in which hydrogen has also given its electron, chlorine has also given its electron. But the tendency of chlorine will be to pull both the electron towards itself. So this tendency of any element is known as electronegative character when they have high tendency, high affinity for electrons. So generally group 17 elements show this tendency, and same tendency is also shown by hydrogen. Okay, when it accepts electron and forms a negative charged ion, that is anion. Okay, think that it is a tendency to attract electron, but you should know that electronegative character is only defined for a bond. Okay, only defined in a bond. Means individual atoms cannot be, means we cannot define electronegative character for an individual atom. Okay, because it is a relative term, it is not an absolute term, it is a relative term. Okay, relative term means we have to compare it with some other elements, like we are comparing chlorine with some other elements. So then we are knowing that yes, chlorine has greater love for electrons. Similarly, we are comparing hydrogen with some other element. So electronegative character is a relative term, means it has to be compared with some other element, it is not an absolute term. Okay, you should know. Very good. Yes, physical state means both exist in gaseous form. Okay, both exist in gaseous form. Very good. This is very correct. So everyone, formation of ion and electronegative character is clear or not? So this is the physical, there is a similarity in physical state also, that both exist in gaseous form. Now, if we talk about the atomicity means what? Number of atoms present in the molecule of a means element. Okay, like if we see the molecule of hydrogen, there are two atoms present in a molecule of hydrogen. Means one molecule of hydrogen consists of two atoms of hydrogen. Similarly, chlorine also, the molecule of chlorine also consists of two atoms of chlorine. Bromine also consists of two atoms of bromine. Okay, that means the atomicity for hydrogen as well as halogen atom is same. Both in both the cases, the molecules of hydrogen as well as the halogens are diatomic molecules. Which type of molecules they are? They are diatomic molecules. That means to form one molecule of halogen or hydrogen, we have to form bond between two atoms of halogen or hydrogen. Okay. Hydrofluorine. Yes, fluorine is also there. F2. Okay. Iodine is also there. I2. So, means halogens as well as hydrogen both exist in the diatomic molecules, in the form of diatomic molecules. Because as you all know, hydrogen, either it is hydrogen or chlorine or bromine or fluorine, none of these can exist in free state. Yes or no? Right? None of these can exist in free state, in atomic state. Okay, so in order to exist in nature, they have to form molecules. And what we see that all of these form diatomic molecules. Okay, so this is a diatomic molecule. Like sodium is a monoatomic molecule. Yes, means the atom of sodium means only one atom is present in the molecule. That we cannot say as molecule. But if we classify the type of molecules, it is a monoatomic molecule. Yes, if we see the molecule of phosphorus, it is tetraatomic molecule. Similarly, hydrogen, chlorine, bromine all forms diatomic molecules. That means two atoms are present in the molecule of halogen as well as hydrogen. Okay? Anyone? Any doubt? Clear everyone? This thing is clear to everyone? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. So student, just tell me fast if you are liking this session or not. Okay. If you are liking this session, do share this class with with your friends, with your classmates, and do subscribe to this channel also and like this class also, so that I can know yes, you people have liked it. Okay, you people like my way of teaching. Everything is correct, everything is okay. I do not need to change anything. Okay. Okay, so just a second, I'm reading your chats because from okay, so many students have messaged so many things. Okay. I have, okay. Mayank is telling I have subscribed and liked the video, no doubt. Yes, ma'am. Octa atomic molecule acid. Very good, Ayush. Very good. So, the atomicity of sulfur is 8. So, it is octa atomic molecule. Very good. S8. Yes. Okay, very good. Thank you, Mayank. Thank you so much. So, these are the similarities between hydrogen and halogen atom. So, if halogen means hydrogen is showing so many similarities with halogens, why it is not categorized under halogen? Because there are some basic differences between halogens and hydrogen. Okay, like for example, hydrogen has one electron in its valence shell, and you all have seen that. Sorry, yes, that is correct. Hydrogen has one electron in its valence shell, and halogens, they have 7 electrons in their valence shell. Yes or no? Like if I write the electronic configuration for chlorine, it is 2, 8 and 7. So the valence electron in chlorine atom is 7. But hydrogen has only one electron in its valence shell. So this is the first dissimilarity between halogens and hydrogen. Then second, again, hydrogen atom has only one shell, but halogens have 2 or more shells. Like in fluorine, there are 2 shells. Chlorine has 3 shells. Okay, bromine has 4 shells and so on. Again, hydrogen forms neutral oxides, as you all have seen that when hydrogen form oxides, it is neutral in nature. That means neither it is acidic nor it is basic. But halogens, they form acidic oxides. You must be knowing this, that non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Yes or no? Non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. For example, sulfur dioxide, SO2 is an acidic oxide of a halogen, okay, non-metal. And like ClO2, this is also a acidic oxide. So hydrogen generally forms neutral oxides, but non-metallic oxides, or you can say the halogens, they form acidic oxides. Their oxides are acidic in nature. Yes. So anyone is having any doubt? Clear, everyone? These were the basic differences between the halogen and hydrogen. Everyone clear? So today's session will end here. We will, in next session, we will start our discovery of hydrogen. Then we will study preparation of hydrogen also. Okay. We will study preparation of hydrogen, discovery of hydrogen. Everything will cover in next class.